Hi, time to time I have discussed various episodes on job industry and as well as Indian tech sector or IT industry and stuff like that. And often, of course, you will find me criticizing there are various issues which companies have to address in terms of the tech industry in a country like India. So other than that, I have also given certain directions so that people can get inspired and think about it. So this video, I thought, let me focus more about a thing which we miss a lot, and this is something we have to focus, and this is more or less, if you compare countries like China, India and Bangladesh and other Asian countries, these are the countries which have a lot of human manpower, since the population is quite high. So when it comes to the IT industry, it's a fortunate thing that India leads in this sector, and it is also very good aspect because IT sector, 90% or 99% of IT sector, we can equate it to a export industry. So many are not aware India is one of the top exporter of agricultural produce. We export a lot of things to various countries, and India is leading in terms of agricultural produce exporter. Other than that, India also exports automobiles and other stuff. If you check countries like Sri Lanka and other countries, they tend to buy Indian auto. Let it be cars and two-wheelers and stuff like that. We are a good we are in that forefront. We do even export to countries like South Africa and stuff like that. But when it comes to IT sector, since we majority of the Indian population work in IT services, IT enabled services, let it be in any domains, including sectors like customer support and other stuff. See, when you do work on a sector like this, if you are working as a client for some abroad company, you are getting money in dollars, euros, whatever it is in the country. So this, although you are not exporting any physical objects, you are giving your services, you are giving your time, and then you are getting paid for your time. And sometimes even it may be a software developed in-house, and then when you sell the software, it will also equate to some type of export services. Okay, so this is what. So this is always good for any country, because the country's economy is judged how much it is exporting versus how much it is importing. If you think about Gulf countries, since there is a lot of water scarcity, they don't have the option of producing agricultural produce by themselves. Unfortunately, they need to import a lot of agricultural produce from other countries, let it be Australia, US and India and other countries. Okay, so this is an issue in a country like Dubai or places like that. And even water, there is it's lot scarce over there, getting fresh water, access to the fresh water. And then if you filter all the water from the sea water through RO, whatever it is, quite inefficient way of getting the water. So but unfortunately they don't have a choice. You have to do extract the fresh water through the sea water, but in that process it's quite an expensive procedure. If you are getting this water just for drinking, it is fine, but unfortunately they need to get this water for other purposes as well. So in a way, the country have to rely on imports more. Other than that, the only thing they can export is oil, which is produced locally over there, and it is also abundant over there. And this includes even countries like Iran and other places. That also includes South America and Russia and stuff like that. So this is what it is. So when it comes to India, unfortunately, fortunately, one thing is we are at the forefront of IT enabled services and stuff like that. And when it comes to China, they are in leading in terms of manufacturing physical products. So this is the way it is at the moment. The one thing we have to improve in our country is other than the Make in India effort, whatever it is, which is also good, because you need at some point of time a good infrastructure of producing stuff in-house in the same country. Even we have recently Apple is making their phones within India, so that this also reduces the cost of the phone, because anytime if you get any electronic gadget from other country, we need to pay 30% as a part of tax. So when I was building any server, unfortunate thing is I need to pay a lot of money, because we need to pay so much tax for this electronic devices, electronic devices. So as long as you don't get in this country manufactured, you need to pay a lot more as a part of premium. See, this is one advantage when you think about auto sector. We are not paying any premium for the cars and stuff like that. But when you think about computers and other stuff, we need to pay a lot of premium, and even it scales up. If not just home PCs or mobile phones, think about an enterprise having a lot of servers. Unfortunately, buying a server in India is very expensive, very, very expensive when you compare to the cost of buying something like that in a country like US or UK or Canada or somewhere else. Okay, so this is what. So it is always good if it is done in-house. So coming back to the IT industry, unfortunate thing when you do services alone is you don't own any intellectual property. So this is the main focus of this video. This is quite important, because the most viewers who watch Linux channel is all techies, and I do get hardly anyone who is in business and may watch a channel like mine. So this is what it is, and I see than other countries, especially than US, I see a lot of disconnect between the entrepreneur community in India versus the tech community in India. Okay, so this is the sort of disconnect you won't find that much when you compare countries like Russia and somewhere places like Estonia and other places where Russia meets European nations. And as well as when you think about even Canada and US, there is not much of a disconnect. But when it comes to India, there is a lot of disconnect between this entrepreneur community and the tech or the core technical community or the technical resources. Okay, I'm not saying just IT alone, let it be manufacturing or let it be any other sector. Okay, so this is what it is. So when you compare the entrepreneurship versus the core technical workforce is, the entrepreneurs, they do tend to form a network, and then they tend to collaborate, have a strategic partnership and stuff like that, versus when you think about the tech communities, they don't know, in case if they have come up with an idea, how to market it, how to build a brand, and then how to strategically make a product and sell it in the first place. And this is something due to this lack of imbalance, we don't have companies like Google, Amazon, whatever it is, spawned in-house. I'm not saying to copy their business model. What I'm saying is some business model, and it should be genuine, and it should be sort of done completely in-house. We don't have much something like that, getting bred in a country like India, unfortunately, because we have this sort of a disconnect. When you think about the entrepreneur community, they are not tech savvy. They are not, they are not tech savvy if it is something to do with IT stuff, and if it is something else, again, they may lack the technical competence as such. So they may be very good in business aspects, but they need to come up with a product centric company. So when you think about companies like Google, Microsoft, or else even a Tesla or something, the product is the main aspect over there. So it is all product centric companies. Okay, so the tech matters. Let it be Facebook, the tech matters, and then you have that the branding and the marketing and stuff like that. So these are completely different type of companies. When you think about when you compare companies like Coke and stuff like that, if you compare with Coca-Cola or Pepsi, they do invest heavily in marketing. But when you think about companies like Facebook or Google, they least invest in marketing. So it is mainly product centric, and it is it's leading because of its tech, the innovation and stuff like that. So we need this type of this type of breeding ground. We need one side entrepreneurs, one side also the core technical community. So we need some sort of step forward, and to make this all possible, the most important thing is the more we sit with the services aspect, it is good that we do get some revenue with the services. I don't deny that. It is like, as I said earlier, it is like an export sector. You think about any services company in India, it is almost equivalent to an export industry. Okay, so this is one advantage. The main disadvantage with this approach is you get paid as long as you work for that job, but you won't get any sort of passive income, because we don't own any technology by ourselves. So this is where we lack. And so naturally what happens is, since we don't have any in-house technology, when you compare with even a country like Australia, they do have a lot of patents, and it's a country which encourages innovation, and which it also encourages capital funding and other stuff done for that sort of innovative products. Whoever comes with that idea and stuff like that. And same thing with the US and some of the developing countries. So this is the sort of atmosphere should thrive eventually in India as well. So if you are watching this video, if you are young, I suggest you to focus on this aspect. Yes, getting job or something, I'm not denying that you need to feed your family and stuff, but unfortunately the country have a lot of people available to do work for somebody else, but we don't have that sort of mindset. I'm not saying we don't have the talent pool, I'm saying we don't have the mindset doing something our own, and then having that strong foothold of that technology. So we need to have that in-house intellectual property, we call as IT. So I mean we call as IP. So intellectual property, the more you own the intellectual property through patents or the other such equivalents, we will get fixed royalty or whatever it is. So this is what it is. The more we have an intellectual property, it is an added advantage, because a particular services thing may die. Okay, so suppose if some other country is offering much cheaper services than India, let's suppose somewhere in Africa suddenly they are getting tech savvy, and some company may find guys who are ready to work for a project over there who are equally talented like India, and they are offering at a much cheaper price because of the inflation within the India. Currently if some European company wants to give this project, they feel that India, it is going to be quite expensive versus a country like Sri Lanka or South Africa or somewhere else. Okay, so this is what. So unfortunately we may not get this revenue stream in a sustained manner. So we can't expect the next 10 years we are going to thrive and going to grow in this particular mode. So this is the high time we need to think of a different model. The more we sit with the services industry, we are just doing a white collared labor supply industry, so which is shameful. Actually, we have done that from past almost 15 years, and if after after just 5 more years or something, it is going to be around 2 decades. Okay, so we are just doing this white collared IT industry, labor supply across the world. What we need to do is, we have enough talent and we have to produce more in-house research, and then we need more in-house intellectual property. The more intellectual property you gain and you keep it within yourself, the more you are going to have a sustained revenue inflow to the country. Okay, so if you get the revenue from other countries, you can imagine that country also is getting that. Okay, so this is the main advantage of IT sector even at this point of time. The reason is, we do work for other countries, and let it be a situation like you be in India and work for other countries, or else you be in that country and send your money to your parents, or whichever way it is. So what is happening is, we are getting this revenue stream from other countries, but the moment we focus on intellectual property, you will have a different source of the country will have a different source of income, much like a passive income. Whether you work or whether you don't work, still you are going to get that revenue. It's just like we have various foreign brands which we use, their toothbrush or toothpaste or soaps and other grocery stuff. So the more we use these products, they are going to get fixed returns out of it, and this is how it works. Okay, so the more we are focusing in terms of services industry, the more what is happening is, we don't have anything to claim that we have this particular intellectual property. So this situation have to change if the country have to go to the next level. Okay, so I'm not saying that we have not developed or something. All it has to do with the mindset, and you need to start thinking how to own a specific technology which you have researched yourself, you have invented yourself, put your time and done something, and then you have built a brand, and then you provide it as a services or product through your company. Or else it may be a other situation where you may still license your software product or hardware product, whatever it is, through some type of collaborative means, and you have that access to that fixed revenue stream. So this is what it is. So this is, as I said, this is completely different than my other videos. Often I have cribbed and all that, I have done that, but this is something I felt it is a video good enough. It should inspire youngsters who are watching and following the channel. They will get a proper direction. So if you are new to the industry, and of course one thing I have forgotten, when I posted about device drivers, I don't work in device driver. The reason I don't like to work in device drivers, I got various comments, and then someone said that as a beginner you can't do innovation and research, and you need to start with something, and stuff like that someone have posted. So I'm not denying that. I'm saying there are situations even a fresher can drop out of the college. You don't need to waste your time. If you have a brilliant idea and you have some sort of a way to achieve your dreams. Okay, so there are a lot of examples you see abroad. If something is working over there, why not it will work over here? So this is what it is. So if you're an youngster, okay, if you have great idea, try streamlining that and try to pursue that, how you can materialize this idea into a effective product or a service, and build your intellectual property through this concept. So focus on that. The more you do the donkey work, we will be like forever going to be labor supply across the world. Actually, the more you focus on intellectual property, we will be like any other developed nation which have its own intellectual property. If you're young, Start thinking in this direction. Once you are settled with a job, your dream job or something like that, start thinking about it and try to contribute something back to the nation. And don't be just yet another white collared laborer from our country. Okay,